All right, so these are problems where I'm going to complete the square to write it in vertex form. So these are all quadratic equations, and there's different methods that we can use. There's many different ways, but the primary method I want to focus on is completing the square. And I've already done a video kind of outlining and detailing how to complete the square, so if you need to look it up, just type in my name, Rob Schwant, no space, and type in complete the square, and hopefully you'll see the tutorial video. But these are going to kind of get into different methods and alternatives to solve it. So I'm going to do number 4. I'm also going to take a look at number 6 and number 8. Okay, so I'm going to do those ones, but just to get us warmed up, let's do number 7 together. Okay, just to get us warmed up here, what I'm talking about completing the square. So I want to find half of b, which is -3. Okay, so because b is -6, so half of b is -3. -3 squared is 9. So I need c to be 9. And the reason why I want c to be 9 is so that I can make a perfect square binomial and have a perfect square trinomial as well. But 5 is not 9. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to write x squared minus 6x plus 9, because that's what I want. But I still have the plus 5, and a good mathematician balances the equation, so I subtract 9. Okay? From this point, I'm going to focus just on the trinomial here, because that's going to actually produce my perfect square binomial. Take the square root of the first term, x, copy that operation, subtraction. The square root of 9 is 3. Okay? And then I just do -5 minus 9, which is -4. Okay, so that is the vertex form of that equation, just that simple. And the vertex for this problem is +3, -4. Because remember, whenever we are dealing with x, again, when it's in parentheses, it's sort of like we do the opposite, or that we have to factor it first. So it is factored, but we have to solve for it. So x would equal 3, so that's why the vertex is at 3. So you do the opposite of x, but the y part, the -4, is just we copy it as is because it's outside the parentheses. So that's kind of a warm-up to completing the square. So if that was a little quick, you're like, what? I was a little lost. Again, go see my other video. It will help you out immensely. All right, let's deal with number 4. So there's 2 different ways we're going to do this. Okay, one of the ways we're going to do this is by looking at this problem and seeing if I could factor out, again, any particular number here. Okay, let's see, 2, 36, 170. Well, aren't all those even numbers? Yes, they are. Okay, so if they're all even, I can factor out a 2 from all of those. Okay, which leaves me with x squared plus 18x plus, let's see if I'm doing my math right, that should be 85. Yes. Okay, so I factored a 2 out of everything, which is important. We're going to keep it, but now I can do completing the square because I have +1 in front of x squared, which is exactly what I want. All right, let's go ahead and, again, we need half of b, which is half of b. b is 18. Half of it is 9. 9 squared is 81. 85 is not 81. Okay, so I need to push that aside and put an 81. But I still have the +85, and a good mathematician will subtract, again, or balance the equation. Okay, and notice how I still kept them in parentheses, because that outside 2 affects all of that on the inside. Okay, keep that in mind. So after that, I'm going to box my trinomial here, and you could factor it, again, as I explained in an earlier video. If you factor it, you'll get 2 of the same parentheses, so this is kind of my shortcut. Okay, so I still have the 2 here. Square root of x squared is x. Copy this symbol. Plus square root of 81 is 9. Okay. And then 85 minus 81 is +4. Okay. But notice how the 2, okay, it affects this parenthesis here, and it still affects the 4. Okay. So when I distribute it inside, okay, I can't distribute the 2 inside of the parenthesis with the square above it, okay? So notice how, again, it's x plus 9 squared. Now, if it were just x plus 9, absolutely I can distribute the 2 in there, no problem. But because it's x plus 9 squared, I can't distribute it. But to the 4, absolutely, because the 4 is just inside the bracket there. So 2 times 4 is 8. Okay? So 2x plus 9 squared plus 8. Okay, and that means my vertex for this problem would be -9, 8. Okay? All right, and number 6, this is perfect, okay? So notice how there's no number on the back end, there's no C. That's perfect. That actually works out even better for me because now I don't have to push anything aside. So x squared plus 4x. So half of 4 is 2, 2 squared is 4. So I actually just, all I need to do is add 4. And then subtract 4 because I have to balance the equation. So I'm only going to focus on this part here, okay, which gives me, again, the square root of x squared is x, copy this symbol, plus square root of 4 is 2 squared, and then minus 4. That's what we see number 6 is, so it actually kind of helps us out to know that we don't have to combine anything at the end there. All right, and then finally number 8, okay? So number 8, this is in intercept form, okay? And there's many different ways you can do this, okay? One of them could be, all right, you can actually graph these points, right? Because the intercepts would be at x equals -4 and -5. Meaning the axis symmetry is in between them at 4.5. So the part of my vertex is at 4.5, the x part. And you can plug it in to find y, okay? But let's go ahead and do this by completing the square, okay? In order to do that, I have to FOIL this, first outside, inside, last, which will give me x squared plus 9x plus 20, okay? And now, I know what you guys are thinking. Whoa, b is an odd number, and that's okay. We can still do this problem, and even though I like to deal with even numbers because it makes the completing the square much simpler, you could still do it with odd numbers, okay? So, if I divide 9, again, because that's b divided by 2 is 4.5. 4.5 squared, or another way to say it, 9 over 2 squared, would be 81 over 4. Okay, so 81 over 4 is what I want. So plus 9x plus 81 over 4. Okay, now I'm going to go ahead and change 20 because I know these fractions here. Okay, so it's going to be 80 over 4. And then again, I subtract 81 over 4 because I have to balance out the equation. Okay, let's focus just on that part right there, which, if I do that, square root of x is, or square root of x squared is x, copy this symbol, plus square root of 81 over 4, which will be 9 over 2 squared. Okay, and then if 80 minus 81 will be -1/4. So, if I wrote out the vertex, it would be -9/2, comma, -1/4. Okay, so I know that I typically don't like to give you examples with odd numbers or that will give you fractions or decimals, but in some cases it's unavoidable in real life, right? So anyway, those are all the kind of examples I wanted to go over with you. Hopefully those help you, and there you go.